Welcome back, everybody. Here we are back in Kindred Spirits again. Last time what happened? That's right, last time school just finished. We actually just started summer vacation. This was the last day. Matsuri and Miyu, I believe are their names, the two senpais there. They were having a bit of an argument, but as it turns out, they always have an argument, and this was nothing new. It seemed to subside pretty quickly. Hina was being forced to choose between one of the two of them. She ended up just picking us instead, which is smart of her. Never get in the middle of someone's argument like that. You just make things worse. Anyways, that was the first day of summer, or rather the last day of school, I guess is a better way to put it. So we're actually gonna go back to our little back in time cherries. I'm not sure which couple this is, but I'm sure we're about to find out. I think I know who this is now. We haven't seen these guys in a long time. We haven't heard anything about them either, so this is good to figure out what's going on here. The sound of rain resounded from the window. Outside it was pouring, but the sound was softened behind the single pane of glass. The closed curtains may have been helping too. For the first time in a while, our after-school work had ended early, so Senpai and I were spending the extra time in our hideout. So they are still in their hideout there. This is about a week earlier than the last episode, so that's good. Well, part of it was that we'd finished early. The other part was that I took Senpai's hand and practically dragged her here when we finished. I mean, if we'd stayed in the classroom any longer, somebody would have showed up with more work for us, no question. Thanks to my small efforts, we managed to reach the room without attracting attention or any more work. That was lucky. What I watched on TV last night, the trouble I'd gotten into at breakfast today, that sort of stuff. Senpai had been laughing and enjoying our conversation. I feel like the conversation is sort of going in circles, but it's not so bad. After all, I'm alone with Senpai here. In the hideout I found after my May exams, the secret place belonging only Senpai and me. Here no one can find us, no one can give us more work, we can relax and chat, sometimes drinking tea or eating snacks. I think Senpai likes it too. On the days when we finish work early, we sort of end up here naturally, without having to ask. Then we sit on the couch until it's time to go home and chat about stuff. I ask Senpai about herself and tell her about myself. I'm so glad I found a place like this, a secret place in the school, a place in my beloved school where I can be with my beloved Senpai. We can spend a nice relaxed time in here, like now, listening to the sound of the rain. Even if I'm with Senpai for most of lunch and after school, it's still work. For the beautification committee and favors that teachers and other students ask Senpai for. Sometimes I wonder if Senpai and I really need to be doing these things, but she always accepts them, so there's nothing else to do to it. And I can't really complain, since I was doing the same thing the first time I met her. And since I'm still new to this, all I can do is help Senpai out and try not to hold her back or make mistakes. I'm too nervous to talk to her while we work, and I don't want to disappoint her by doing something stupid because I'm not paying attention. That'd be terrible, so I try to stay serious when I'm helping her. We don't work in complete silence or anything, but most of the things we say are questions about what we're doing or Senpai instructing me. We can't talk about the sort of things we talk about here. That's what makes this place so important. And here Senpai can talk to me about whatever she wants to. Our conversation today isn't that exciting, but that's because of the weather. The rain sort of relaxes you, you know? It's almost time to go home, but I'd like to stay here while listening to it forever. Hey Senpai? I wanted to tell her the feeling suddenly filling me. I wanted her to say, yes, me too. But when I looked over to where she was sitting next to me, oh. When did that happen? Senpai was dozing with her head against the armrest. It looked a little uncomfortable, like she'd just tilted over from where she'd been sitting in the middle of the couch. Senpai? I tried calling to her one more time, but got no answer. What should I do? Should I wake her up? But it's not like I need her to respond immediately or anything. I just want to tell her something and hear her agree with me. She must be tired. We had a lot of stuff to do again today, and we finished it all as fast as possible so we could come here. I told her we should relax in the hideout when we're finished, and Senpai agreed. We worked really hard after that. And Senpai's a third year too. She's probably studying for entrance exams and stuff. Entrance exams, huh? Senpai said that she'd have to retire from the beautification committee in the fall to study for her entrance exams. Then graduation. Oh no, I'm feeling really sad now. So sad I'm almost scared. Next spring, Senpai will graduate and leave this school. It's not even a year from now. Senpai, that's all the time I'll have together with Senpai. At some point, I had stood up from the couch and gone over to Senpai's side. I bent down next to Senpai's face where her head rested on the armrest. With my knees on the floor, I was close enough to hear Senpai's breathing. I don't know how much more of time I'll be able to spend with Senpai here. The buzz of the rain falling outside and the taps of drops hitting the window, the sounds echoed through our hideout, softened by the closed curtains. It was already pretty late, and there weren't many people left in the inner building. The only noise came from the windows. Senpai and I were sitting here alone, listening to the rain. Hey Senpai? My voice was a whisper because I didn't want to wake her up. I wanted her to rest well, but it sort of felt like my time alone with Senpai was slipping away. And while the time seemed to fade, I wondered how far my relationship with Senpai could go. She said we could start with being friends, and that was true. We are friends now. Yeah, we're not just a freshman and senior on the same committee. We're closer than that. We can talk about all sorts of things when we're here. I talk about all things at home and things at school, and Senpai listens, and she talks about all sorts of things too. And now, my earnest Senpai, so reliable and so mature. I bet she'd never doze off in class, and here she is sleeping in front of me. Is that how relaxed she feels around me? Senpai wouldn't do this with just a normal friend, right? That's how special I am, right? Hey Senpai? From where I sat on the floor, I just needed to put my elbow on the couch, and Senpai's face would be right in front of mine. I didn't intend to do it, but there was just so much going through my mind. I slowly brought my face closer to Senpai's. Wow, she's doing it. Look at this. And touched her lips with mine. With my eyes closed and everything black before me, all I could feel was a soft brushing my lips. Senpai's lips. Her faint breath tickles my cheek in her sleep. I'm kissing Senpai. I kissed her. That was all. My head was spinning and forcing out my thoughts. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt, but it all seemed so far away. All I could think about was kissing Senpai. My mind was filled by only the sensation of my lips touching hers. Senpai, I love you. That was all that was left. All I wanted. To stay like that forever. And of course she's gonna wake up now. I just wanted to keep feeling Senpai's soft breaths against me. Huh? I wasn't thinking about anything else, like what I would do when Senpai woke up. The sensation of her lips suddenly pulled away and I heard of her voice. What were you just doing? In that instant, my whole body turned to ice. My head, my heart, everything. I opened my eyes again and pulled away from Senpai, so quickly that I fell back onto my butt from where I was kneeling. At the same time, I felt a cold sweat creep over me. It was because I'd seen Senpai's face. She looked surprised. Yeah, I guess that would be surprising. I was kissing her when she woke up. She looked at me with her eyes a little wide. Was it just my imagination, or was she a little pale too? Was that how startled she was? What do I do? What can I say? Should I give her an excuse? Like, what? No, I couldn't do that. I mean, it all just happened. I wanted to kiss her so badly that it just happened. I kissed you, Senpai. But why can't I smile? Smile because I'm happy, because I'm embarrassed? I can't do either. Since it's just Senpai. You looked really comfortable sleeping next to me. Really comfortable. And your face was so pretty, so that was all. I just love Senpai so much. It was because that feeling became too much to bear. I wanted to kiss you. I don't know why, but I just wanted to so badly I couldn't stop myself. That was all. And yet... why? I kissed... Why is Senpai crying? Where did those tears come from? Could it be that I've done something I shouldn't have done? What should I do? What should I say? My head seemed to be filling again with those thoughts, but the only thing that came out of my mouth was, I'm sorry. I said and hung my head, no longer able to look at Senpai's face. I was sitting on the floor with my hands sprawled forward, practically prostrating myself. It was the only thing I could do. That's how terrible what I did was. I'm so sorry. I choked on my words and had to grit my teeth to stop myself from crying. What was I supposed to do? How much do I need to apologize? I shouldn't have. Was I just misunderstanding? I had to have been, after all. No, it's fine. That's not it. Senpai was so shocked that she cried because I kissed her? This is... Her voice wavered, unlike her, troubled, unrecognizable from the voice I'd chatted with, trembling. I was just a little surprised. That's not true. I'm sure it isn't. That's not it at all. I couldn't summon any more words, not even to apologize. Couldn't even raise my head. I was so scared to look at Senpai's face. Her frozen face, like her voice. Let's go home for today. I heard Senpai's voice from above me. It was her usual kind voice, yet... Okay, come on, get up, Maki-chan. She was being kind to me, yet... Okay. But her voice was like ice to me. Her words froze next to my ear and slid into my head. What have I done? Uh-oh, I'm not sure. That's the best outcome for that. Was a little weird there, Maki, though, so what can you do? Oh, wow, we're actually going back. We're going back. Oh, no. That one was back. Oh, I'm sorry. So this one wasn't the last day. This was like a month ago. Okay, this makes a lot more sense. So that happened about a month ago, and that's why things are a little strange in this month, because, well, yeah, we'll see that. So we'll continue on. I'll see if I can find hers again. I don't want to start a new couple if I don't have to. But it looks like maybe we do. Oh no, yeah, we do. We absolutely do. So we'll start off with, or was it this? No, it's not. Maybe it is. I guess we'll go here. This is where it's telling us to go to, so this one's brand new. So we'll go to this one. Maybe I'm doing this in the complete wrong order. Oh well. Yeah, so it is these two again. There we go, good. Maki-chan walked behind me through the hallway, just a step behind, really. But up until just recently, it would have been right beside me until that day. She still helps me with my work after school. That hasn't changed since then. Yet this step of distance has, and what changed it was Maki-chan kissing me, I think. So we're actually in a senpai's head this time. I had nodded off a little and woke to Maki-chan kissing me. I was so surprised that I got a little teary, but Maki-chan had been so shocked to see my tears that she dropped to the floor in apology right there. I hadn't gotten angry or condemned her, but I don't know if I fully accepted it, even if I told her that I forgave her for the kiss. But I had left things as they were, which created a bit of awkwardness, it looks like. This step of distance. This silence, even though we used to talk about all sorts of things, now when there's no particular need for words, none come out, from Maki-chan or from me. Maki-chan didn't run away on that day too. She didn't try to lie about the kiss, she apologized. And on the next day she came to me again after school to help me with my work. We headed to our tasks like this, walking down the hallways wordlessly. And when we started on something, working on something, we worked in silence, not speaking except for necessary instructions and the like. We can't help this awkwardness between us, yet she hasn't run away. She still comes and follows behind me. Maki-chan's really strong, isn't she? She's getting much better at helping me too. She's been very quick to figuring out how things to do her work. Oh wow, I messed that up badly. Very quick to figure out how to do her work efficiently. She easily carries things that I find heavy. She's so small yet so strong. And she's always proactive when we need to get a tool or contact someone. She's really good kid and a hard worker, even at a time like this. Is it because of her feelings for me? Is that just me being conceited? Perhaps it's still true though. We're both girls, yet she confessed to me, even knowing that it might have been a strange thing to do. I'm sure that took a lot of courage. I didn't know how to react to Maki-chan's feelings. I've never been in love before, or even confessed to. That's why I told her we could start as friends, but even I understand that. I don't want Maki-chan to start hating me for rejecting her affection. It wasn't because I like Maki-chan. I didn't want someone to think badly of me. Even an underclassman I'd only met once before. I didn't want her to think particularly highly of me. I just didn't want her to hate me. I didn't want to disappoint her. It was because I had thought that, and because I had hoped that maybe Maki-chan would be able to understand me. That's probably why I'd been so surprised by the kiss. Considering Maki-chan's feelings for me, I think I could have been particularly at fault for dozing off in our hideout in the first place. Oh god, now you're gonna blame yourself for that? Don't do that. But it had truly shocked me, not because I had hated her kissing me, but because she hadn't asked me first. I still can't condemn Maki-chan. I still don't want to lose Maki-chan's feelings for me. I don't want to let them go, her honest, earnest feelings for me. Yet I still can't say anything to Maki-chan. I'm sure she's waiting for me to forgive her for the kiss, but I can't do that. Why, I wonder? As Maki-chan's footsteps echoed behind me, the question whirled around in my head with no answer. Okay, well, I guess we'll keep on with these guys. So now we got a very clear picture of what's been going on with these two. I guess we'll figure out what's been else is going on here. I was alone today. Maki-chan, who was always by my side, walking just a little bit behind me, wasn't there today. I wonder if this is the scene where Yuna talks to her here. She told me she had something unexpected to help with at home and had to leave first thing after school. She apologized again and again, and when she said it, I was just a little bit relieved and a bit lonely. Maki-chan hasn't spoken much to me since that day. She seems to be tormenting herself every day since. Today I didn't have to see her acting so unlike herself. That's why I was so relieved. I was so selfish, I know. I'm particularly at fault for making her feel that way too. And to think I would still feel lonely without her around. Oh, this won't do. I'd stopped working, I'd forgotten how many stacks I'd put together. I let out a small sigh and got myself back together, recounted the stacks, checked to make sure I had the order of the printouts right, and then... Do you need any help? I turned to the voice at the entrance of the classroom. Stood a second-year girl with her hair in a ponytail. Well... My name is Tumi. I'm a second year. Sataki-sensei asked me to help you out. Tumi-san? Sataki-sensei asked her? Sataki-sensei was the one who had asked me to put these together, but... I didn't even have time to wonder what to do. The answer just came out on its own like it always does. Is that right? It's alright though. I'll be done with this in no time. Maybe not no time, but it wasn't something I couldn't finish on my own. I didn't need to ask anyone to help me. That's why I answered that way, but... Oh, don't worry about it. I wasn't doing anything. It'll be quicker if we do it together. Tumi-san said. Coming into the classroom, she walked right over the desk where I'd stacked all the printouts. After coming this far, it might be worse to turn her down now. I couldn't help but think that way. Really? In that case, could you help me for a bit? Of course. Tumi-san glanced over the pile of printouts, then said, Should we start by putting them all together first? Yeah, that sounds good. Then let's stack them in order on the desks. Right. Wow, this Tumi-san is impressive. She weighed the options out in her mind in no time. I appreciate the efficiency too, so I had no objections to Tumi-san's suggestion. I lined out the printouts like she'd proposed. We arranged the piles so that we just have to staple them. This is for a first year class, isn't it? Seems like it. We were silent for a while we worked, barely saying a word to each other. How many staplers do you have? Only one. Then want to start stapling them, Senpai? I can finish the rest of the stacks. Sure. I stapled the completed printouts together, the sounds of the paper's wrestlings, the snap of the stapler. The sounds echoed through the wooden walls of the inner building classroom. As the piles of printouts gradually grew shorter, the stack of staple packets grew higher. It's a little calming, I think, the feeling of a pile of unfinished work shrinking and completing work stacking up. Though it makes me feel a little like a workaholic. This is all of them. Yep, looks like it. All that remained on the desks were some leftover printouts and our completed packets. Amazing. I don't think that even took an hour. Thank you, or it was Tumi-san, right? That went pretty quickly. No problem. This would have been a lot of work for you to do on your own, though. You might be right. I appreciate the help. It really was a big help. I'd thought that I might be all... Mad. I thought that might be all I'd be able to get done today, that I'd have to save the rest of my work until tomorrow. Seeing how efficiently we worked, I remembered this second year who helped me, Tumi-san. Come to think of it, you've helped me once before, right, Tumi-san? Yes, it was last year, and you were helping me, Ahara-senpai. Was I? You were very efficient today, though. Tumi-san, that's what I remembered. Is that so? It was a long time ago, we hadn't talked much, and I think I'd only just heard her name, but... I remembered you too, Senpai. You were a lot of help back then, and... You're quite famous, Ahara-senpai. Oh, you think so? Famous, she might be right. Famous enough for this girl to know me, at least. Yes, you're always doing stuff like this after school, right? I see you around the campus a lot. Is that right? I'm a little embarrassed. I could only summon a bitter smile. What did she mean by famous, I wondered. Her face made it clear that she didn't seem to mean it as an entirely positive thing. We just need to bring these stacks to blah blah blah. We just need to bring these to Satake-senpai, right? I'll take them over. Oh, it's too much to carry on your own. It was a lot of work getting it all here. I'll help you. But that many papers can be pretty heavy. We'd have an easier time carrying them together. And I couldn't let Tumi-san do all the carrying herself after helping me. I was about to stand from my chair to pick up some of the printouts when... This isn't something you should have to do, is it, Ahara-senpai? Huh? For a moment, I couldn't fully process what Tumi-san had said. These are for our first year class, right? This has nothing to do with you, Senpai. This was just busy work, isn't it? Why? Why do you have to do this, Senpai? I gradually figured out what she was asking. I had never imagined I'd suddenly hear those words, and coming from someone like Tui-san, who I was barely acquainted with. I'm sorry. Was it too much work helping me? No, not at all. I just want to know. Why do you do all this work for so many people every day, Senpai? I understand the work you do for the beautification committee, but you get all this work that has nothing to do with that pushed onto you. Isn't it strange to you? Don't you ask yourself why it's you who has to do all these things? They're the things that should be able to ask other people to help with, or just do for themselves. But everyone's asking you because you always agree. They rely on you. They push even the simple things onto you. Don't you think you're just being used? I just stared at Tumi-san's face. I wondered why she would say things like this, why she would tell me things like this, and how I should respond to her. I think what Tumi-san was saying was completely natural, but I wondered why she had to say it to me. She probably wanted to know my answer. That's what I thought. Like she'd said, it probably seemed like a strange thing for me to do. She probably wanted to know why I'm always doing this sort of thing. How could I answer her? I thought about it, and in the end, the thing is, I hesitated a little. I know that sort of thing does happen on occasion, but I'm sure I decided to come out with my honest feelings. Don't want to be of help to people or anything like that. Why don't I know? I don't want people to be upset if I turn them down. I don't want people to think of me as a cold-hearted or anything. It's just that I don't want to betray people's expectations, I think. I may have wanted Tumi-san to listen since she'd asked me sincerely. I don't necessarily want to be praised by people for helping them. I just don't want them to think badly of me for turning them down. I think that's why I can't say no. Because of this, I feel like I shouldn't have said anything to the people who take advantage of me. I wanted her to know about me. I don't think what you're saying is wrong, Tumi-san, but I can't help accepting them. I can't turn them down. I think about it sometimes. Not what you said about why I'm the one doing all this, but that I wish someone would understand why I accept those requests. I know it's a selfish thought, but I've wanted someone to ask me why. I don't want them to praise me or tell me that I'm just wrong, I want them to ask. I think that sometimes. But they won't understand what you're thinking if you don't say anything, and you won't understand what they're thinking either. If you don't say anything, if you don't tell them, nothing will change. They sounded like they were incredibly painful words for her to say. At the same time, Tumi-san suddenly picked up the stack of printouts so suddenly that I was left a bit dumbfounded where I sat in my chair. They were heavy, but she lifted them, and it's not going to be easier if you never say anything. Leaving me with those quiet words, she walked out of the classroom. I found myself glued to my seat, even though I could have caught her immediately if I'd gotten up. For some reason, I felt like I shouldn't go after her, and unable to do so, I didn't feel hurt by Tumi-san's words. In fact, Tumi-san had seemed to be the one hurting from the things she'd said to me. That's why it had sounded like, and I was sure, it was because she had the same sort of feelings I did, that she couldn't tell anyone. That's what I thought. I felt better off than just because I'd answer her questions, and she was probably only feeling worse after hearing my answer. I finally stood up, alone in the classroom, and tidied up the remaining printouts in stapler. They won't understand if you don't say anything, huh? I suppose she's right. But I'd never said anything. I'd just accepted everyone else. After spending all that time doing it, I think today was the first time I'd actually put it in words. But I hadn't been to the person I wanted to tell. To the person I wanted to make understand. Wow, so she doesn't think badly of Tumi, and Tumi was worried about that, but I think, anyways, that's her problem. Anyways, we're gonna continue on that story in just a sec. Just need a drink of water. Alright, so which one is it here? Pushover is what we're doing. I kind of want to see if we can finish pushover. Hopefully these Maki and Miki make up. We hadn't been to our hideout in a while. Unlike that day in the middle of the rainy season, today it was hot with a strong sunlight. On that day, the curtains had been blocking the sound of the rain. Today they were blocking the sunlight. We hadn't changed where the people here. What hadn't changed were the people here, Maki-chan and me, since it was a place just for the two of us. It's been a pretty long time since we've come here. Yeah. Yes, we hadn't visited once since that day. Neither of us even suggested going. Even though we were still working together almost every day like nothing had changed. Even though Maki-chan was still helping me with all the tasks I accepted. Neither of us could say it, that we should rest and talk. The secret place Maki-chan had found, our hideout. I had really been surprised the first time she'd brought me here. And I had been happy that Maki-chan had worked so hard to find it that she had told me about it. And that time we had spent there had been fun. Time spent talking about whatever we wanted without having to worry about work finding us and piling up. It had been a place of real relaxation. It wasn't that I wanted to slack off or anything, but being able to go there was definitely a welcome retreat when I felt tired. The time we spent here relaxing after finishing our work. Maki-chan tried so hard to come up with all sorts of things to talk about, and in response I talked to her about various other things too. We talked about ourselves and whatever else came to mind. I realized I'd forgotten what it was like to chat like that. To spend time like that in a place like this. And I thought it had all been ruined that day. But by who? Maki-chan because she kissed me? No, not her, I'm sure. The one who ruined it was me. Let's sit. Since going into the back of the room, our hideout Maki-chan has been almost completely silent. She was standing still and stiff. A first-year girl shorter than me, a girl whose face I couldn't see when it pointed down, like now. Even though I was the one who was making her look down like that, I still wanted to see her face. I sat down on the couch first. If I did that, I'd be able to see Maki-chan's face. When I sat down and looked up at her, I saw her stiff expression, her lips shut tight. The face was similar to me, a face like she was scared of something, but resolved to accept it. It was my fault she'd been making that face ever since that day. Come on, Maki-chan, sit. Okay. With a quiet response, Maki-chan sat down next to me. She'd hung her head again like before. I couldn't see her face. What should I do? I didn't want to make Maki-chan look like this. I wanted her to understand what sort of person I am. I wanted someone to understand. It's the same thing I told Tumi-san yesterday. That I'm concerned with what people think of me. That it wasn't just out of goodwill that I accept work from people. That I want people to think well of me. That I just don't want people to think badly of me. I wanted her to understand that that's the sort of person I am. Not everyone, no. Just Maki-chan, just this girl. An honest, straightforward, cute underclassman, a first-year girl like a younger sister, a girl who had told me she loved me as her face turned bright red. That's why. Then, that moment when I'd woken up to discover her face just in front of me, her lips touching mine, I'd been so surprised. Even Maki-chan would push something onto me, ignoring my feelings. I had thought that. But what about me? Hey, Maki-chan? Yes? Her voice was so quiet it seemed it might disappear. Her hands were clenched into fists on top of her knees. Listen. I had to tell her what I was thinking, what I wanted her to understand. About that day when you kissed me, Maki-chan. Maki-chan jumped for a moment. That was the issue hanging between us after all. I'm really not angry, I was just surprised. But you were crying, Senpai, so I realized I'd done something really awful. Listen, Maki-chan. I'm not angry that you kissed me, Maki-chan, I mean that, but anyone would be surprised if someone kissed them while they were sleeping. Right? I'm sorry. But I think I've been doing something awful to you for a while now too, Maki-chan. Huh? After all, you told me right from the beginning that you loved me, Maki-chan, and I told you that we could start as friends. But all that time afterwards, I never thought about I never thought about why you might have told me that. I never tried to understand what your love really was. Because of that, it was wrong for me to think I couldn't understand when you kissed me, even if I was surprised. Senpai, I think I need to know more about you, Maki-chan. I'm sorry I've been so selfish. No, that's not true at all. Oh, there it is. I feel like it's been a really long time. Since I've seen Maki-chan's face right next to me in this place where we're so close. Her usual bright, cheerful smile hasn't returned yet, but now I can see her eyes looking straight back at mine. I want to know more about you, Maki-chan, more than I did until now, and I want you to know more about me too. Will you tell me about yourself, Maki-chan, and will you listen to more about me? I want to talk about that sort of thing more with you. Senpai? Maki-chan. Tears were spilling from Maki-chan's eyes. I hadn't noticed that she'd grabbed my hands at some point, but now her own were shaking. I thought you were gonna dump me today. What? That's... I thought you were gonna say you didn't like me anymore, that I should stop following you. I wouldn't. I don't know what I'd do if you'd told me that. I see. I'm sorry I made you feel so anxious. I wouldn't say that. Please don't cry. Okay. I gripped Maki-chan's hands, smaller than mine, trembling from all that anxiety she'd felt. I held them as gently as I could. It's almost summer vacation, right? Yes. I've got summer courses, and I'm sure you have some plans too, Maki-chan. Yes. But if it's alright with you, would you like to hang out a bit during vacation? We could just go out for lunch together or something. How does that sound? Do you mean like a date? A date. Yes, that's right. Let's go on a date. Senpai? Maki-chan's eyes were still full of tears, but her smile had returned a little. It meant so much to me to see it. Maki-chan, who told me she'd loved me, I love you too. Maki-chan, my precious underclassman, a friend. I imagine having a little sister is something like this. I still don't know if that love will connect with the love Maki-chan feels for me. I've never been in love like that before. I don't know if the love I'm feeling now is romantic love. That's a lot of love. Or if it will become romantic love. But I think it would be nice if I could get even a little bit closer to Maki-chan's feelings. That's how important Maki-chan is to me. Senpai. Call me Miki. Miki-san. I want to understand her more than anyone else, and I want her to understand me more than anyone else too. Oh, well that's a good ending for that. I like that. That's good. So that was it for those two. That was the pushovers. So we will start with, who are we gonna do next time? Looks like the two upperclassmen there, the two athletes is who we're gonna do next time. But we'll have to wait until then. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you then. Goodbye.